Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, how much could depending on your location. Please join in the struggle to liberate our people from the contraption. Like and share videos. Nuro luayo, na nuro luayo. Nuro luayo, na nuro luayo. Ọ dịghị mgbe ike mmadụ ga-akarị ike Chukwu. Ọ dịghị mgbe ike Naịjirịa ga-akarị ike Biafra. Nna nuro, onye kere ụwa nuro luayo. Nna nuro, Olisa bi n'igwe nụrụ akwa yo. Now, the news update.
Kenya court declares Nnamdi Kanu's abduction and rendition to Nigeria illegal, awards 120 million naira in damages. Kenya court declares Nnamdi Kanu's abduction and rendition to Nigeria illegal, awards 120 million damages against the Kenyan government. Now, we expected this judgment before now. I think we expected it last year, but special thanks to Professor P.L.O. Lumumba, who led the Nnamdi Kanu's defense team or legal team in Kenya to challenge the kidnap or the adoption of Nnamdi Kanu and his transfer to Nigeria. And today, the Kenya court has said that that is illegal. So, I think it is very important we applaud the Kenyan court, also P.L.O. Lumumba and his legal team. This is a very good thing for Nnamdi Kanu. I know that Kenya's court don't have jurisdiction in Nigeria, but it has a lot of things to do with current Nnamdi Kanu's case. Now, if the process of transferring Nnamdi Kanu, a court of competent jurisdiction in Africa has already, struck out what Nigerian government through Malami that time said that they did it in a legal way, that they connived with the Kenyan government, with Interpol. They lied. They put up a lot of lies. I'm talking about Malami, former Attorney General of the Federation, who recently joined Obedient Movement now that P2B has welcomed. They lied. They put up all sorts of lies. So today, the court has shamed them one more time, telling them that what they did was kidnap, that is not what they are supposed to do. And Kenyan government, the court said that they owe Nnamdi Kanu, protection, because Nnamdi Kanu came into the country in illegal means, so someone cannot just come and kidnap him and take him away like that. Now, when Sunday Igboho was arrested in the Republic of Benin, the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, sent helicopter, is it helicopter or private jet, something like that. They sent it to Benin Republic for them to bring him back to Nigeria. The Republic of Benin said, no, it doesn't work like that. This is our territory. You don't decide on what we do. We have to try this person in the court. If, it worth taking him back to Nigeria, we'll take him back. But if he's running away for his life, if he has the right to run away, then we can leave him to go wherever he's going. And at the end, they left Sunday Igboho to travel to Germany and Germany to London. He started living his life. That is the way it's supposed to be. Now, let's go through this article to understand what transpired. It reads that a high court in Nairobi, Kenya, has ruled that the abduction and detention of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and his subsequent rendition to Nigeria in June 21 were unlawful and illegal. End of discussion. Yeah, this is end of discussion. So, anything that happens after Nnamdi Kanu's adoption ought not to happen. I'm talking about all these, what they called court cases. It ought not to happen because the process by which Nnamdi Kanu was brought into Nigeria was illegal. Now, the only place maybe Nigerian government could have argued with court is if the Supreme Court has not said that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail, that the military illegally again invaded his house, that led him to leave the country. All these things can only happen in Nigeria. Now, the article continues. Delivering the judgment, Justice E.C. Mwita held that the actions of both the Kenyan and Nigerian governments amounted to gross violation of Kanu's fundamental human rights as protected by their respective constitutions. The court also awarded Kanu 10 million Kenyan shillings, which is equivalent to 120 million naira, in compensatory damages against the Kenyan government for its role in the unlawful abduction and rendition. So the Kenyan court has officially found the Kenyan government guilty and, in collusion with the adoption of Nnamdi Kanu. Remember that Minister of Information in Kenya had a press briefing denying that the Kenyan government don't know anything about the adoption of Nnamdi Kanu when the hits started coming up. You know what? If that was more indictment on the part of the Kenyan government. So you mean that someone enter your territory, came to your country, kidnapped someone and leave your country without your notice, came down in your airport? So I think that was one of the arguments that Professor P.R. Lumumba's team argued in court, that it is not possible. You can't deny that. Now the article continues that Justice E.C. Mwita said, having considered the pleading and arguments by parties, the decision relied on the Constitution and the law. I come to the following conclusion. First, the government of Kenya violated the Constitution and Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's rights and fundamental freedoms. Having entered Kenya lawfully, he was subject to the protection offered by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and the government of Kenya had an obligation to uphold and protect his rights and fundamental freedoms. 2. Mr. Nnamdi Kanu was, however, abducted, kept in solitude, confinement, torture, and denied food and medication, a breach of basic rights. He was chained, humiliated, ridiculed, and held in contempt and later forcibly removed from Kenya without following the law in violation of the right and fundamental freedom for which the government of Kenya is liable. 3. Based on the above conclusion, the court made the following declaration and order it considers appropriate. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction of Nwanne Kanyi Nnamdi Kenny Oku Kanu, holding him in incommunicado confinement, torturing him, and denying him food, water, medication, and other basic necessities was a violation of his rights and fundamental freedoms. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction and subsequent forcible removal of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria was in violation of the laws of Kenya. His rights and fundamental freedoms, including freedom of movement and security of the person guaranteed by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and therefore unconstitutional and illegal. An order for compensation is hereby issued awarding Mr. Nnamdi Kanu general damages of 10 million Kenya money, that is equivalent to 120 million naira, against the Attorney General of Kenya on behalf of the government of Kenya for violation of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's constitutional rights and fundamental freedoms. Meanwhile, the indigenous people of Biafra has hailed the judgment as a landmark victory, saying it vindicates the group's long-standing position since what it described as the sham and fascicle trial of its leader in Nigeria. A statement signed by the IPOD spokesperson in a powerful read. The indigenous people of Biafra wishes to formally announce a resounding judicial earthquake that has taken the legal foundation of the fraudulent rendition of our leader, Oyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. In a historic, courageous, and landmark judgment delivered on June 24, 2025, the High Court of Kenya, sitting in Nairobi, found that abduction, incommunicado detention, torture, and illegal transfer of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021 was unlawful, unconstitutional, and a gross violation of his fundamental human rights under Kenya and international law.
My people, on don't hear them now. What do you make of it? Drop your comments. But remember, it's Biafra or nothing. Bye for now.